Good day, everyone. I'm your host, Michelle White. Welcome to Community Update 313. I've got my co-host, Rob. Hey, what's up, Rob?
What up, though, Detroit? I'm not always home, but I'm always representing. We got a great guest today, and it embodies what our topic is. What does it mean to be a true advocate and leader in your community? And this brother, this is my first time meeting him, but seeing what he's doing, I googled him and I told him, I looked him up, I gave him all the look around, but he is doing a lot. He is a mover and a shaker, and I really want him to expound and expand on what it is to be a true advocate and leader in your community on and off the floor, if that makes sense. I use the sport analogy, but it's like sometimes people are only good when they got the lights on them. But what do you do when the lights are off? So who do we got up next?
Mr. Demetris Knuckles L. Hey, Demetris.
Hey, what up, doe? What up, doe? What up, doe?
We are so glad to have you today on Community Update 313. And let me tell you a little bit about Demetris. Demetris Knuckles L is a community leader, a mentor, a justice reform advocate. He is an author and dedicated to helping individuals transform adversity into growth and purpose. He is the founder of the Great Minds Project and creator of the Still Healing Program. We're going to be talking about that. That's part of his book, Still Healing. And he has a program. It's a reflection-based curriculum that develops awareness, self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and leadership skills. He's also the author of his new book, Still Healing, and so are you. So Demetris, he's had opportunity to be on Ellen DeGeneres and the A&E Network. Wow. So that's wonderful. And through his work, he bridges the gap between communities and institutions while empowering individuals to build their lives and to contribute positively to society. Welcome, Demetris Knuckles L. How are you this today?
All right, I could not have introduced myself better.
Oh,
I'm doing grateful.
So we're glad you're here today. You've got a new book we want to talk about, but tell us some of the things that you have been doing in the community and why you chose to write the book, Still Healing, and so are you.
Okay, first of all, let me just say our community is suffering the traumas that we suffer today because collectively we refuse to admit that we've ever been hurt. So if we never admit that we've been hurt, then we will never start the process of healing. And me coming from where I came from and finally having the manhood and courage to acknowledge that I've been hurt, I had to start looking around me. I started looking around me and saying, man, that's why he doing the same thing. That's why she doing the same thing. And so when I was in prison, I always wrote books, short stories, poetry, etc.
Now, how long were you in prison?
I served 28 years in Michigan Department of Corrections for a crime that I did not commit. However, I was not exonerated because they did a great job in framing me. So very good job, Oscar-worthy job.
Look what you're doing now.
And I always said that I'm going to get out. They gave me a death sentence as a juvenile. And I said, I'm going to get out. But not only am I going to get out and do great, but I'm going to get out and I'm going to put the system on its head. And I started by coming out here, sticking to my purpose in life when I found my purpose. And that purpose was to rebuild broken communities. And we start rebuilding broken communities, not by building a house on the block, but by changing and helping people transform the way that they think about themselves and about our people around us. Because an officer once told me this. He was a very humble, very respectful officer of many that was just corrupt. He said, I cannot see myself acting like some of these people because I realize that I cut from the same cloth, and one day you guys are going to get out and stay next door to me, my daughter, my sister, my mother, and I want to make sure that I have poured into you enough humility that you will begin to see people around you as your friend and not your enemy.
Oh, that's good, because I know a lot of the officers or people, prison reform inside prison is not always reformation. They're not always reforming people, but it sounds like that particular officer and maybe the ones that God had surrounded you with were helping.
Absolutely. And it's one particular officer I want to highlight, and I'm sure you probably have met him before. His name is Officer Baker, right?
Is he at Macomb?
No, he was at Macomb. He was at Ryan. He worked for 27, 28 years. He's a part of Integrate 313.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so we call him Big Baker.
Okay.
That man there, and I'm going to highlight this man because we give him his flowers because he's like 78 years old, and we know we probably got more time behind us than we got ahead of us. And this man never once treated us like a prisoner. He treated us like his son, his brother, his cousin, his friend.
I love that.
He treated us like a human being.
That's wonderful.
And that helped inspire a lot of us. He became to some of us like that uncle figure. That one voice that we needed inside that hell, that one voice of heaven that we needed inside that hell, that would give us the light, the wherewithal to keep walking forward and not become distracted by the noise around us. So
that
I want to
is
highlight
awesome.
that, brother.
Officer Baker, wonderful job.
Absolutely.
Well, tell us. I know that I follow you on social media, and I know that you have had a lot of deaths in your family over the past maybe 2 or 3 years. And I just my condolences, my prayers go out to you and your family. And was that the healing? Sometimes when we're reflecting on our lives, we have to ask our higher power, Allah, God, whatever we call them, to show me where it came in at the root. And it often comes in when we're children.
Well, I definitely had a lot of death in my family and friends as well. But I interpret death differently. My grandmother told me this a lot of years ago. She told all of the grandchildren and her children. She said, "You're going to miss me when I'm gone. But don't cry because I'm gone already. You have a life to live. You got things that you got to do, because if you keep living, I can guarantee you one thing, that you're going to be lying horizontal too. How do you want to go? How do you want to go out?" So in saying that, although I have had all of this death in my family, I've also had a lot of life.
Yes.
Because I realize that death is no enemy to man. It's just a friend whom, when the works of life is done, it just cuts the cord that ties the boat to shore and allows that boat to sail on smoother seas. And when you truly are tapped into your spirit and you truly are in that process of healing, you begin to learn that although the physical body has transitioned, that spirit lives in every memory that you have of that person.
Yeah.
So that person never is really gone, because you still remember how your mother looked, your grandmother looked, or if you knew your great grandmother, you still remember how they looked, because the system of America, or wherever you are in this world today, can strip you of everything about you, but it can never strip you of your memories.
That's true.
And that's what I hang on to. That's what keeps me moving forward and doing the righteous things in life that I know that is going to affect somebody else in such a positive way.
That's true. The memories of people live on. I like to use the analogy that your light still shines even after you've left the planet. So you want to let your light shine bright as you can while you're here. And then it will continue to shine as people think about you, what you've left, what you've done in the in-between from birth to death, What did you do? What light did you shine? How did you help someone? And it can be something as simple as just smiling at someone.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So tell us about your book.
All right. So
Healing, what's the title again?
It's called I'm Still Healing and So Are You.
Mm-hmm.
Let me break down the title first of all.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it goes back to me acknowledging that I had been hurt. It took me a long time to admit that I've been hurt because I always felt that I was a tough guy, growing up, didn't know any better. I thought I was tougher than him and tougher than them. And
you want to elaborate on your hurts that you experienced or no?
Oh no, I'm going there. All gloves are off. I'm going there. So I had to acknowledge that my parents both of them were drug addicts. My father also was an alcoholic, and my brothers. Me and my brother are by my father. Then my mother has 2 other sons by another guy. So it's four boys.
Mm-hmm.
And I have my sister with my father. And so all of us had to sit around and watch our parents and uncles and aunts, everybody partied at our house. Even some of these celebrities that people know that's from Detroit, they partied at our house with my parents and aunts and uncles.
Mm-hmm.
We had to watch them overdose. We had to watch my Uncle Chucky. We called him the doctor because when people overdose, we kids, we don't know no better. He bring everybody back. He bring everybody back from the dead.
Did he use one of those needles that they stick in the heart? Or no?
I'm gonna tell you what he used, and I don't mean no offense, but he slapped the hell out of people while they under bow, and put that ice around their neck, and somehow, some way, and put his stuff all in their nose, and somehow, some way, they pop back every time, right?
Okay,
so
that's the home method.
That's the method. That's the home method there.
Okay. So I can see it from a movie or something. and and Demetris, your story, you're going to find, and I'm sure you have already found, somebody else went through the same thing. Absolutely. Many people had parents who were both drug addicts. So oftentimes for those who are listening, we think that our story is so unique that, oh no, you don't understand. This is my story. You don't understand. Somebody else we all have a story, and many people have the same story. But finish telling us, please.
And I'm glad you said that, because that's right where I was going, is that I realized that my story wasn't unique just to me. So when I was in prison and I used to see the young guys, because I was the youngest guy at a certain prison, the second most violent prison in the United States at the time. I was the youngest person there.
What's that one?
Jackson 4 Block, Michigan.
Jackson. I'm going up there.
So it's not like that today, but back then they used to post on the wall how many prisoners would get stabbed each week. Wow. It was bloody. It was predatory. It was corrupted. It was everything. So I grew up in there. But as I'm growing up in there, and I was the youngest, I'm seeing young people come in there, and I'm looking at these young guys, and I still had that ego, that false pride that I hid behind like I was a tough guy. And I would see myself in them. And I didn't like what I was seeing in them. And so I started writing about it. I would write my poetry. I would write short stories. I would write down some of my most intimate thoughts. And then I started talking to young guys the way that the old heads talk to me. Old heads like Noosa Mill, the brother, he really took me under his wing. And he just got out after 50 years, just less than 6 months ago. And when I started seeing myself in others, I realized that if I could find the courage to tell somebody that I was hurt, maybe somebody else could find the courage to tell them that they share that same experience. And if we could find the courage enough collectively to share that experience in a group setting, we could transform a greater circle of people around us, and we could keep spreading like dominoes. So I began to share my story of being hurt. And then other people were like, man, I went through the same thing, and so on and so forth. And a domino effect happened. And when that domino effect happened, I told myself that I want to start 1999. This is a story that I tell very often. because this was the turning point in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I was 26 years old. October 2nd, 1999, I realized that I had life without parole in prison. I realized that I was going to die in prison if I did not change my life.
At 29.
And that I was 26 years old in 1999.
Mm-hmm.
So in that very moment, I decided to change my life. I stopped cussing, used the N word, referring to women by derogatory names, referring to myself by derogatory name. I stopped doing a whole lot of stuff that was self-degrading. And in that moment that I changed my life, 19 years, on that day, I first said that I wanted to start a nonprofit because I want to pay homage to all them brothers in prison and the sisters, my aunts and cousins that came to visit me, all these sisters that helped me to become the man that I'm still becoming today. I wanted to pay homage to them. Some of these brothers were allowing me to stand on their shoulders, to see a freedom that some of them brothers may not ever see. And some of them never had a chance to see it except through me. So I said, I'm going to call that nonprofit the Great Minds Project.
Okay.
That's how I came up with the Great Minds Project, October 2nd, 1999.
Okay.
Fast forward to 19 years later. 19 years later, on October 2nd, 2018, I walked out of prison.
All right now. And see, you were being productive, and despite what you were experiencing in various prisons, you said, I'm going past this, and I'm going to believe that I'm going to get out. I don't know how I'm going to get out, but I'm believing I will be out. And look,
but I knew that if I started the healing process, things would happen. See, you can't heal if you don't have faith in your healing.
That's right.
See, and when you go to the doctor, you don't go to a doctor and tell them to work on you if you don't have no faith in their work.
That's true.
Right? So I had to learn to have faith in myself, that I was working on myself, and that God was giving me the wherewithal to work on myself. And so I had to have that faith. And I knew that in that faith, I would learn how to heal. And so I started that healing process, and I started helping brothers. And they say I used to tell people about their dreams, dream interpreter and all this type of stuff. No, I just would tell about the reality. If you shot so-and-so, you robbed so-and-so, 9 times out of 10, if he was young like us and he was in the streets, you about to see him in prison. That's just reality. That wasn't a dream. So I tell people that's how we tend to think. We get mad because somebody came back and did something to us, but we did it to them first. And we had to break that cycle. But the only way we could break that cycle is by learning how to heal. And so that's what I began jotting down all my thoughts about how I was healing, what I've been through. Because I had to tell myself what I had been through, acknowledge it. I had to own it. Because if I never owned that stuff, I could never heal. And so that's how I came up. My book was not originally called I'm Still Healing and So Are You. It was called These Pains. And it started out as a poem called Nobody Understands These Pains. I'm talking about the type of pains that rearrange your saying. How do you think in the membrane, contemplating a gunshot wound to the brain? Nobody understands these pains. The type of pains when you see your father overdosed on drugs, and you see the same drugs overtake your mother, and you watch your father die in his own blood. Nobody understands these pains. So I start doing.
I love that poem.
But my poems became so long because it was more to poetry than an ending. The work of life and the healing of life is never ending. And so from there, I turned it into a book. And I turned it into the book with all my experiences out here. And I said, I'm going to write this book. It's going to be called I'm Still Healing, and So Are You.
I love that. The work of healing and life are never ending.
That's right.
That's right. It's right. Because we're always learning and healing till the day we leave the planet. There's something more to learn. There's something more to heal from. There's some new area to grow in. There's some new area to prosper in. That's wonderful.
Healing is not a destination. It's a process.
I have a question for you. And can I call you Meech? Because I see Meech up there.
Hey man, I'll meet you, man. Just don't call me Big Meech unless you call me Big Meech without the money.
I got you. So one of my questions is, because this is a big thing, especially with our community. It's the respect factor, and I have watched the street respect get more people killed than the actual occurrence. You know, oh man, somebody stepped in my shoes, and it's the respect thing, and then it goes on. Well, it's the principle. How much did you carry that into the next thing, or did you go, you know what, my vision is bigger, or my purpose is bigger than what this? Obviously, you don't want anybody to talk crazy to you. That's just natural. But I'm sure that had to wane off a little bit more to get to where you're going, especially leaving prison, especially growing up in the city. How did you transition in that space?
I'm gonna give you 3 quick examples. When I got to prison, before I got to prison, I was in the streets, obviously, and had a lot of fights and had a lot of stuff going on. And when I got to prison, it was this one guy. Mm-hmm. I got shot up in 1990, and this one guy was right there when I got shot up. He didn't do it though. Mm-hmm. He was a part of the guys that did. I see him in prison. Now, mind you, a few days before I got shot up, we had beat him up and all that stuff. So just go back to the story I said about people acting like getting mad because he filed me, but I filed him first. So, so I see him when he got locked up. He seen me. He like, man, what's up? So I'm like, what's up, man? So my first thought was, let's get it in. Let's solve this right here. But my teachings at the time, because people who took me under their wing had already been teaching me how to think. My teachers at the time, and then come to find out, me and him was a part of the same organization. So
on the same team.
So I pulled him aside and I said, look, all this old showing off in front of people, I don't do that. You know me, I know you. I say, what was we beefing over? Tell me that first. If you could tell me what we was beefing over, we can get it in right here. I couldn't tell him, he couldn't tell me. I said, man, we done. We're done with that. I left that alone. That's one situation. 2015, 16. I was at this facility, and there was some problems going on. And my cousin told me, he said, cuz, I lost a lot of respect for you after I seen how you let this guy call you all out your name. I said, cuz. I said, that's because I'm going home. I'm not spending the rest of my life here. That I got to achieve there up in prison. So that was 2015. I'm walking the yard with one of my friends who's out right now. It was January 24th, 2016. I'm walking the yard. I said, Suda Bay, man. I said, I just had a dream, man. The United States Supreme Court came out with the case to release us from prison. I bear witness. One day later, the following afternoon, the United States Supreme Court came out with the ruling that authorized the release of us from prison.
The juvenile lifers bill.
Yes. So I went back to my cousin. I said, cuz, this is what faith and patience get you, man. You got to have faith in your patience, and you got to be patient with your faith. And so that's the second incident. So I do security out here right now, bodyguard work, security. And I've had guys talk real sharp just recently. I mean, literally like just a couple days ago. And he was talking real tough, like he was, but I'm not the tough guy. So I can't play tough with you. It's either I am or I'm not, and I'm not. So I talked to the little brother down. I said, brother, calm down. I said, I'm not letting you in with the way that you're talking to me. Calm down. I love you, brother. You my brother. When I see you, I see me. I want to see you have fun with your life, not ruin your life like I once did. And now I had a second chance. The brother, he toned himself down. He said, all right, man. All right. Because he had been drinking a little bit. I acknowledge that. Sometimes. We get that. Sometimes. No, all the time. a man of wisdom must always absorb the situation around him so he can apply the necessary wisdom to it, unless he wants to self-destruct with the situation around him.
That's right.
I knew that in each situation as I was growing up. I may didn't know it very well early on, but I learned it as I grew older. I'm not a tough guy. I'm your brother. I love you. No matter what you did in life, I love you. I may not agree with some of the stuff you did, but I love you. That's enough for me to never, ever raise my hand to you.
I like that. And Meech, that's two things that reminds me of conflict resolution classes that some people take when they're younger and just, period, because you're teaching people how to resolve a conflict by talking, by loving, by letting it go. It's not that serious. And when you know who you are, you know that you can kill somebody, you know that you can do bodily harm to somebody. It's not that serious. I'm not a talk about a person, I'm a be about a person, but I've learned that I don't have to be about it because it ain't that serious.
That's right.
I used to have a book called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, because it's all small stuff. It's not that big. You talked about me, you said this against me. Okay, I'm gonna forgive you. I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna keep it real. I don't have to be around you all the time. But so that's good, teaching people how to resolve conflicts and healing from potential violence that could lead them back or into prison or death.
That's the key word, the healing. That's why it's so easy for me to resort to conflict resolution, to resort to mediation tactics, to resort to effective communication, because I realize that some of the stuff that our brothers and sisters are saying to us that we deem disrespectful, we're not saying it's not disrespectful. But some of us can see past what's being said to the hurt that's causing it to be said. So now when I'm talking to you, I'm trying to reach past your words into the hurt and say, hey, why don't we just deal with this, bro? I love you, man. I know how it feels to hate myself. I know how it feels to hate my brother. Why don't we deal with this? Because once we deal with that, that's that healing that we need in our community. And then we can go back to speaking to our neighbors like we don't do today. People don't even know their neighbor's name. Never said nothing to them because we feel so hurt in ourselves that we don't even acknowledge nobody around us. It's only us. Like we are the only people that
we have trust issues.
Absolutely.
We have trust issues across the border. And I look at, like, I have one particular friend group where we have it's like 10 of us in this friend group, and I've known all of them, maybe minus one, for at least 20 years. And looking in the friend group, because you know how guys are, they say if your friend not joking on you or like messing with you, then he don't really love you, right? Because we just joke on each other. However, there's this, you know what I mean? Like there's this thing where the serious side, then we will also text or call outside of that group chat after we just got done talking about him and go, hey man, I'm just checking on you to make sure that you're really okay, right? Because we still do certain things as friends, but I feel like you have to have the right people around you to secure the safe space to go, hey, if you're going through something, not only am I not going to use this against you, my job and goal here is to help you, right? Absolutely. But we don't, as men, the same reason why we've learned how to deal with rejection from an early age, because we've experienced it a lot more. I feel like we also need to learn how to experience love a little bit more, because it's really weird unless you're not with a girl. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you first started to experience love from a guy, and unless you had your dad around to give it to you, which a lot of us didn't in that particular way, they usually went a hard-nosed way. Oh, if you don't do this, then you're nothing. And it's like, well, dang, I just wanted a hug, but we put it in this situation where it's like, hey, we have to be, you got to show love, because women get it from their dads. And a lot of them say, hey, there's no love like my dad's love. And you hear it from from sons. Hey, there's no love like my mother's love. But what if you got both? Like, what if you had your boys, and what if you had, that nucleus where you were like, hey, this is a tougher situation, and I need my boys' help, or I need my dad's help. But this thing, especially within our community, we just don't do it at a high clip, and it's unfortunate, because I feel like that's one of the things that changes how we look at things. It's actually strong and very masculine to be like, hey man, I'm hurting right now, and there's a lot going on. To me, it takes way more to do that than to laugh it off and make it seem like it's nothing and then go cry by yourself.
Well, the hardest thing I ever had to do in my life was to be somebody that I wasn't, because that meant that I had to put a different hat on in every room I went into, because I wasn't me. But the easiest thing that I ever did in my life was just be myself, because I could wake up this way, I could walk this way, I could talk this way, I go to sleep and I woke up again the same way. That's the easiest thing that I ever had to do. But
agreed,
we live in a world, especially those of us who have grown up or is growing up in disenfranchised, ostracized, dehumanized, poor and impoverished, violent prone neighborhoods. When you're dealing with all of these factors, we learn to have tough skin. And so we learn to not think or talk about things that may make us think of ourselves as being weak. So we're not going to talk about being molested. We're not going to talk about being beat up, for that matter. We're not going to talk about sexual orientation. We're not going to talk about an array of things, because our pride, our false ego, based on the environment that we grew up in, has indoctrinated us to believe that to talk about any of those type of things is weakness. Yeah. So what we do is we hide and we let it build up until we blow up. And so now that takes me back to my book. I didn't write this book for people to read for entertainment. I didn't write this book as a book. I wrote this book as an invitation, as an opportunity, as a mirror for people to say, I can relate to that. I want to start this process of healing too. That's why I wrote this book.
Is there an excerpt from the book that you would like to share with us?
I go to
and what I'm loving hearing is that men are talking with one another more. Absolutely. And you all don't normally, women talk all the time. We cry on each other's shoulders. But men have always needed to talk more and have more conversations amongst men, because it is a strength. It is not a weakness, but you all have been taught that it's weak to talk too much. It's weak to share your feelings, as you all have been sharing, but that's not a weakness. That's a good thing. Yes, you can't share everything with everyone.
Right. So chapter 16 is called The Sentence. It says, when I was released from Methodist Children's Village, I wasn't released into safety. I was released into custody. I was placed with my Aunt Kathleen, who had promised my grandmother she would take care of me. The intention was sincere. The house was full, but I was already fractured. No fault to my Aunt Kathleen, who treated me as if I were her only child, when in fact she had 4 other children. Several years, 3 of them right there in my age range, and the other several years older than me. Still, Aunt Kathleen opened her big heart to me. But because I was already so fractured, so psychologically poisoned by the things that I had already witnessed at such an early age, love felt foreign. It felt foreign. And this is what we're seeing today. When Rob went to talking about, really telling the guy, it feel weird. It don't feel weird to me anymore, because I practiced it. Right? Because I got back to what became natural to me. Love is natural to me. I had to get to that point. And that's not to say that I love everybody. No, I'm still a work in progress. But for me to tell this guy, I love you, embrace you, I love you, I really love you, my brother, I love you. I can say that. I don't feel weak about it. In fact, I feel empowered. I feel empowered, especially when it's received, because now 2 brains is better than 1. 2 empowered Black men is better than 1. We can empower 2 more, and us 4 can empower 4 more, and so on and so forth. So it goes back to that healing, the acknowledgement that we've been hurt. And that's a great hurdle in our community right now. I mean, we will acknowledge that we smoked weed. We'll acknowledge that we're no longer a virgin. We'll acknowledge that we drank some of this behind mama back. We acknowledge a whole lot of things.
Yeah. Yep.
But we will not acknowledge that we've been hurt.
That's so true. One of the times you mentioned Integrate 313, they have been our guest on the podcast as well. And that forum that they use, that platform, gives men an opportunity to come out and share. And one of the evenings I was there, a gentleman was pouring out, but he was pouring out how he was angry with women and wanted to kill women because of his girlfriend. And it made me clutch my pearls, like, oh God, am I in the right meeting? Oh, you were at that one? I was like, okay, Lord, am I in the right meeting here? Do I need to get up and walk out? But what I loved seeing was the men knew he was just speaking from his hurt.
Yeah.
And after a moment or two, I did too. He was hurt. Yeah. So he was speaking from that, and all the men embraced him with love. Let him know, brother, we're here for you. Brother, we understand what you're going through. And so that's so important when we can recognize that people need love. People need to be embraced. Sometimes they need a hug, and that's foreign to them. But we just have to show each other, hey, brother, I hear you. Hey, sister, I got you.
Yep.
Not be false about that. So, Demetris, where can people go to get your book?
It's on Amazon right now. You can order the book, or I have a book signing at the Imagine Theater in Oak Park on Sunday, April 26th at approximately 12:30. I say approximately because the person who's sponsoring it has me coming to his what he referred to as a spiritual community, which is, some people call it the church. And he said that his church service will be over, his spiritual community service will be over at 12 to 12:30. And that at that point, which I'll also be on the microphone at his spiritual community as well. But at that point, they can come down there. I'll have a lot of books. I have some of my shirts, Still Healing.
I love that. But now I'm not familiar with a Imagine Theater in Oak Park. I know there's one in Royal Oak.
Royal Oak. My fault. Okay. I always say Oak Park. Royal Oak.
Yeah, that's two different cities. Don't say Oak Park.
So I'll be there on the 26th. I'll be there from 8:30 to whatever time. But so the books will be available. I'll have some on hand. I'll have my shirts, t-shirts on hand. I'll have a lot of little trinklets on hand.
Is that that must be a Sunday? Is that a Sunday?
Yes, a Sunday.
So on April the 26th, you'll be at the Royal Oak Imagine Theater, and from 12, you'll be there throughout the service, but from 12 to 12:30, you'll be doing a book signing until you're finished. What?
I will be there from whatever time, 12 to people stop.
Okay.
Because I'm going to talk to a lot of people. A lot of people going to want to talk, and I'm going to want to talk to a lot of people. That's just what we do as community organizers.
But it starts at 12.
And yes.
Where you're doing the book signing.
Absolutely.
Until it's ending, till it's all over. I'll have to come on out there and try to get a book signed myself.
It's going to be special. I mean, and I'm not saying that because I have a program that's based on this book. My program is called Still Healing. And my program is a embodied poetry-based non-clinical healing curriculum. And when I speak of poetry, I speak of the poetry of life. I'm talking about the way that you breathe, the way that you talk, the way that you walk, the way you smell, the way you hear. Everything in our lives is our poetry. It's just that some people find words to describe that the way they walk, the way they talk, feel, smell, hear, taste. And that's poetry too. And I'm talking about that poetry too. But the main poetry I'm talking about is getting us back into rhythm with ourselves. Because if you had a child today, that will change the rhythm of life the way that you know it today, because it's going to change because now you have a child. If someone passes today, it's going to change your rhythm. If you get a new job today that pay you more, it's going to change your rhythm. You're going to jump up and your whole. So my program is to get us back in tune with who we are. Because again, going back to the book, if we don't realize the rhythm of our lives and the poetry of our lives and how once that rhythm is broken, that trauma begins to set in. Unless we find a new rhythm, we're going to continuously find the rhythm of trauma, and we're going to keep asking ourselves, why me? Why me? Why me? I ask myself, why not me? I know I was chosen already, so why not me? I'm the one that can carry it. Why not me?
That's right. So the program that you're doing, where, when, how can people get involved in that program?
My website is www.thegreatmindsproject.org.
Thegreatmindsproject.org.
Not the Great Minds Project 5.0. It's thegreatmindsproject.org. So you can check my website out. I talk about, I'm giving updates, telling where I'm going to be at. But my program, I'm giving a synopsis of it at the Imagine Theater, which the sponsor asked me to give a synopsis because the program, I offer a 1 or 2 day pilot program, or I offer a 6, 8, or 10 week program.
Well, give us a synopsis of it, just a little tidbit. We got time.
I'm going to give you a synopsis.
Okay.
So we might have a group of, a perfect example. I'm proposing it to integrate 313 right now, literally for Thursdays. Right now, I already spoke to the proper people. I just got to put it in black and white. So we're going to have a room of people, 8, 10, 12, 15, whatever amount it is. And we're going to talk about some things, a time when you felt safe, or a time when you felt happy, or a time when you didn't feel safe. And we're going to elaborate on those moments of our lives. And we're going to elaborate on the fact that if you ever felt safe in your life, what happened to that thought of safety? If you ever felt unsafe in your life, what made you feel unsafe? And we're going to start showing ourselves in the mirror to say, how did I contribute? Even if it's just by my silence, how did I contribute to the hurt that continued throughout my life? I remained silent about it. I never told anyone. It's things in my life that I just revealed to people 53 years later. And I carry this. We carry so much hurt, so much pain, so much trauma. We carry the memory of being ridiculed at school. So in my program, when we talk about these things, it's non-clinical. So I'm not trying to fix anyone. I'm not trying to fix anyone. I am just showing you the tools, the whole toolbox that you have the freedom to look into, to utilize and experiment with the tools that you may be able to use to repair yourself from some of the hurt. Freedom to look into.
Okay.
So my program is an invitation, just as my book, to the process of healing, a reflection.
So I love that, because people need to be healed. And again, the title of your book is Still Healing. Say the rest.
I'm still healing, and so are you.
I'm still healing, and so are you. That is so important, because we all are still healing from various traumas in life. And I'm sure you come across a myriad of different types of healings. Everybody doesn't come from the same background, but they still got to heal. Everybody doesn't come from the same story, but they still have to heal and learn how to heal. And that's what you're doing, teaching people how to heal. Some people don't even realize that they need healing because they've hidden certain things so deeply embedded. And well, I'm not thinking about it even more anymore. Yeah, but you still haven't forgiven this person. You still haven't forgiven yourself. You still haven't forgiven. And forgiveness is a huge part of the healing process. I'm sure your book speaks to that as well, does it not?
Absolutely, it does.
Mm-hmm.
So let me say, my program is not a prison story. Mm-hmm. My book is not a prison story. Mm-hmm. I'm so far beyond prison. You know, my book is for individuals returning home from incarceration, youth at risk of entering the system, people navigating trauma or pains in their life, community members seeking personal growth. My book is for organizations focused on re-entry or prevention. My program meet anybody where they are. It's wherever they are. That's where my program meet. So my program is different than other programs because, and I'm not putting down other programs, because if it worked for somebody, more power to them. I have no qualms against that. But my program is based and built on lived experience. It focuses on accountability rather than blame, because I realize that so many of us, we blame everybody for everything. And that goes back to about the reflection. See, your reflection in the mirror will never show me. It's only going to show you. And that's what we got to come to grips with. We have to learn to reflect and be accepting of that reflection, or not accept the reflection, but acknowledge the reflection. Even if we acknowledge it, but don't accept it, that means that I don't like what I see.
And self-examination. Self-examination is so important. I just shared that with someone either this morning or yesterday. Until we can come to the point where we can say, oh yeah, I did do this, or I did say this like this, then you're going to continue. If we don't change certain things within us, we repeat the cycle. We continue to go through the wilderness instead of walking in the promised land because we ain't learned the lessons. When we learn a lesson, then help me to get to the next. I can go on to something else. But you got to learn lessons along life's highway in order for you to continue to advance to the next step. So your program is teaching people that now. You know, the White Charity Foundation, we help people get recycled furniture and put it in their homes. So I'm sure some of the people that you're encountering, and I think we put furniture in maybe some of your relatives' homes, but yes. We want to, be sure and have people contact the White Charity Foundation too, spelled WYTE, who is also one of our sponsors. You could go to the WYTE charityfoundation.com and you can fill out a form to say, I'd like to donate some furniture and please come pick it up and we'll pick it up. Or I'd like to receive some furniture. Please let us know what you need. And we will do our best to provide it for you based on what people don't give us. So be sure and let some of your clientele know about the White Charity Foundation, Demetris. And because we're all here helping. Everybody's helping in some area, different areas. But as people are healing, I've had traumas in my life, and I had to ask God, show me where it came in. And it came in at age 5. 5. So wow. 5. So you said, what can happen at age 5? Things can happen.
Things can happen
in your young life, things that you don't talk about. But you have to deal with those things so that you can help move on to know, why am I thinking like this? Why am I doing like this? How I need to change certain parts of my personality. I need to not brag on certain things that I think is cool. It's not cool.
Yes.
So your program is helping people to deal with that. And do you have different people that come in and speak to different topics in your program, or what do you do?
That's exactly what I'm doing. I was supposed to bring one of my friends on right now. When I say this guy is a phenomenal, big, young guy, and he got so many youth around him that he's really pouring into. I'm not talking about the street guy that does what he does in the streets, but then he try to come mentor to the people on the football. I ain't talking about them type. This guy right here is genuine. This guy right here don't do nothing in the streets at all, but he's so relatable because he's like 36 years old, but he do everything. He still play basketball, all this stuff. And I talked to him, and he want me to partner with him, which I told you about him, a little bit about him, Michelle, about my friend. And so I partner with people. I'm saying all of that to say that I partner with people, a lot of people, and I talk with a lot of people that's walking down in the same direction I'm walking. Because it's easy for me to talk to you if you're walking in the same direction I'm walking, and I know I'm going in the right direction, because now I can believe that you're going in the right direction. Even if you don't know exactly where you're going right now, you're still walking in the same direction. And once you get there, I don't think you're going to turn around when you see the promise. So I walk with these type of people, and my network is, Wayne State. That's why I was accepted at Wayne State. But I go to Macomb Community College. Like I said, I spoke at Wayne State social work program and the behavioral health program. Spoke there numerous times. I have a lot of connections there. And now at Macomb, at University of Michigan, and with the whole juvenile life community.
We have to have you come over and speak at Wayne County Community College. Have you spoken there yet?
Listen, Michelle, I'm just a telephone call away. For me. Listen, I'm right here.
Well, and I tell people, get with you to see what program and how we can fit you into something that we're doing, so that you can come and talk to our students and community at Wayne County Community College District.
And I honestly don't mind. I'm ready. I'm willing. I have a few other people that speak about the same thing. Like I said, I'll be speaking at the community on the 20th, on the 26th. I'll be speaking at that community, because some of my programs, that my 6, 8 week, 10-week program is paid programming. He want to give his people a synopsis of what he know of me already, because him and his wife been following me for years, and they have already paid me to speak at Wayne State and other places. And I told him, I said, listen, I will pilot some programs. I mean, listen, my goal is to help people, not fix people, help people.
What kind of topics do you discuss in the program?
Whatever the topic is, I'm a journeyman of life. I'm a journeyman of life. If I don't have the answer to your question, I can find somebody who do.
I've got a young man right now that we gave furniture to last weekend, and he's a brother that's been out of prison for 3 years. And I'm just praying he doesn't go back, because he can't seem to find employment. And I told him where he could go to get bus tickets, and he's got a young lady pregnant, and I can hear that woman is all in his ears and beating him down and tearing him down because he is not working. And he's like 2 steps away from going back, doing something wrong.
I was going to say,
get around the right group. Yes, Rob. He needs help. If you can help him.
No, I was going to say, before Meech gives his answer, I was just talking to a couple guys about that. And I think there's a lot of things that you can put in there, but 2 of the things that stick out to me is, number one, it's what you say to yourself internally, because what you say out loud is only a byproduct of what you've been telling yourself before you actually vocalized it. So
that's right.
When as I'm speaking positivity to myself, I had to believe it internally first, which changes a lot about what I do. And it's the people you have around you. We were talking about some people, and, I look at my friends as, well, if you're really my friend, I don't always have to tell you that you're right. Sometimes I can see you messing up and go, hey, you jacking up right now. And if I wasn't your friend, I would just let you go. But a lot of times what happens, especially here, we give this courtesy of not really being a friend. You can see the person, somebody's gaining weight, and you won't tell them they're gaining weight. You'll just tell them after they lost the weight, you look better, man, because you were struggling before. Well, you're not my friend then. So you got to mind your circle. That's why the circle's small, because everybody else, you got to just give courtesies to. But my actual friends, I need you to be able to tell me, hey, Rob, you jacking up, bro. And I may be offended at first, but I'm going to realize you're not saying it to hurt me. You're saying it because you actually care about me. And that's a trial and error situation. So if anything that I would ever say, especially because I do it all the time, mind your circle, know who your friends are, know that you won't have a lot of friends. You will have a lot of associates. I have 5 strong friends, five strong friends. I have a lot of associates. I know a lot of people, but I have 5 friends that I know that I can be like, hey, I need your help, or hey, you jacking up. And I say that, not to say that's the only thing that we talk about, because you can find commonality anywhere. I can find 2 million guys right here to talk about sports. That don't mean that we're friends.
Right.
I can find 4 million to talk about music. That don't mean that we're friends. But there's something else that's beyond the surface that you should have to attach to. So I would say know your circle and know who you are.
But also Michelle, he's been out 3 years. I think I don't know who it is, but I'm sure he's probably heard of Integrate 313.
He had not. He lives far away from it. So somebody was going to pick him up and take him over there. But what I see is sometimes guys come out prison and they get connected with a woman. And oftentimes that's not their power, that's their weakness. And Absolutely. They let that woman take care of them. And then when she get tired and start speaking, and you done already got lazy flopping on the couch, and you're not getting into the action of, oh, I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to get around the people. So he's 3 years out now. And even a couple of the programs I directed him to, he's been out 3 years. So he can't qualify for a couple of things. But I see the brother's just discouraged.
We get complacent with our hurt. We get complacent in our hurt.
He's young.
And so again, my job is not to fix anyone. My job is to show you the toolbox, because I found tools in there that help me repair myself. And I'm pretty sure that it's a lot of tools in there. And if you look in there, I'm just going to bring you the toolbox. Here it is. You're going to toolbox. My program is a toolbox. Integrate 313 is a toolbox. Come get you some tools, bruh. You see us around here? We've been fixing on ourselves for the longest. Eventually, you're going to see us walking and talking so professional, like you see today, that you're going to be inspired. And what we're telling you right now is get with me while my hands are able to utilize and show you how to use those tools. Get with me right now while my brain is still fresh and functional, that I could teach you how to use those tools, because we are in a decline of our health. A lot of us are getting older. And I don't mean literally. We're in the decline of our health to where our patience is getting lower, because we're dealing with bigger things now. And now we're getting further away from the smaller things in life. Not that it doesn't matter, but we're moving away from it, because I'm on my healing journey right now. I can't afford to keep reaching back into the fire, and I'm trying to heal the burns that I already suffered. So when you see my hand reach back, because I know you see it, because I'm waving like this, and ain't nobody else down there with you, and ain't nobody up here but me. You see me waving, grab hold of my hand. And I'm not going.
He's not in any circles where he can. I told him where he can get his ID at Crossroads and go to MRS and go to. I told him these things, but I can't take him to every place. And I told him where he can get bus tickets. But
sometimes that's what we were talking about. That's a pride thing too, because a lot of times we want to be the best in our circle. If you're the best in your circle, you got to change it. Like, that shouldn't be your everyday circle. That should be your every once in a while circle. You got to learn. You got to be constantly in a state of learning every single time you're in a circle.
Well, guys, it's almost 8:00, and it's almost time to end the show, the segment. And Demetris, we have loved having you here on this, and we're going to have you back. And people, go out and get the book. Hold the book up for us again. Hold it up. It's called I'm Still Healing, and So Are You. Go to Amazon.com and get a copy of this book. Thank you for tuning in. Don't go anywhere. Right back on Community Update 313. I'm your host, Michelle White. My co-host, Rob. Peace.
See y'all later.